right there. Perfect. Well, good evening, everyone. Appreciate you being here. Have a great turnout right now, and I'm sure more people will join. Thank you for being on mute initially. I'm more happy about being interactive. We'll have some questions throughout. My purpose here is to give you an update on what's been happening on the district Eagle boards. We have started some virtual boards. We'll talk through those. But really it is about giving everyone an update, tell you how we're moving forward in the best information that we can to make that happen for you. Okay, so let me make sure something's happening here. It is good. Okay, so as we move forward, we know we still have the coronavirus phobia stuff going on. Totally understand. It makes sense for us to be social distancing in many different ways. Trust me, I got extremely excited yesterday because the first time I was out since Sunday a week ago is I went to the recycle center. That was my excitement, okay? So yes, I get out more often than that, but that was my outside of my neighborhood. That's where I went. So I totally understand how that works. But doesn't mean doesn't mean I was sitting still by any means, and we do not need the flag. Okay, so first thing I want to do is definitely from an introductions perspective. I'll just hit this for a second. This is the entire team. This is the entire team that actually is helping put this together and move us forward, and we're collaborating on a regular basis. Trust me, for even having our Eagle boards, which we had our first Eagle boards last Saturday, we met almost every day to make sure that we fine-tune things and had it ready to go and move forward. And from all the feedback we received from the scouts, from the adults, the board members, et cetera, it went really well. So I want to make sure I recognize everybody because this is the team that's helping make it happen. Now, what I will also say is a little bit of a repeat from a couple of weeks ago is this is kind of the problem we have is when it comes to our Eagle boards, we have a full plate in many different ways. And this is the reason why I want to make sure we're keeping up to date, have question and answer sessions. We're going to do this every couple of weeks, every 2 weeks right now until we overcome our stay-at-home problem that we have underway. And this is more to keep you everyone in tune of what's happening, how we're moving forward on that side. So we do realize the problem we have, and we do look at figuring out how we can move this forward because the numbers you see right here, as far as 30 Eagle boards, actually it's down to 27 at the moment, but as of, we had 3 Eagle boards on Saturday, but we do realize that we have Eagle boards, we have a full plate for the upcoming months, and we're looking at that, and we're going to talk about some of that in a moment. Now, when it comes to project review boards, we're not forgetting about you. Absolutely. If there's an age priority for any Eagle project reviews, please bring it to our attention and please leverage that advancement email if that's the case. But for the most part, we're putting all the project review boards right now on hold because I do not have a lot. It's more about making sure that from an age appropriate, et cetera, we have this underway. We are taking priorities currently on our Eagle boards. For anyone of going Eagle rank to have them have first priority. And that's how we're looking at the moment. Once we move forward in our Eagles and get them, I'll say dwindle down, we'll start working on our project reviews, but we're not forgetting about that. It's definitely in our minds to start working on that. But I will also repeat myself. If you have something from an age perspective, please bring it to our attention. We'll talk through it. And the other thing to think about when it comes to the coronavirus activities right now is it is also possible to have a project that's coronavirus friendly. Now, what I mean by that is you can leverage social distancing and having projects occur. So we can talk through that if that's an option, how you're thinking through that and make that happen. So I just wanted to at least say we're not forgetting about the project review boards. Because we have the direction from national to delegate, we can have video conferencing. I'm just going to skip right through this to repeat, but we do have it sanctioned by national. Okay, so there is one correction. We'll go through all these. There is one correction in the middle, but we have 2 different options. The third will become available as soon as we overcome our stay-at-home activity, shelter-in-place activities. That we're under right now from those being sanctioned to that. Right now, we do have the Eagle rank extension. We have that opportunity, so we can leverage that. That is, if you are of age, you can leverage the Eagle Rank extension to move that forward. Right now, my goal is to avoid having to fill out that form. Honestly, that's why we're doing our virtual Eagle boards, which goes back to, on the right-hand side, the video conferencing. Having the video conferencing with the scout, with the board members, and making the best experience possible. Those are the two options we're currently leveraging. We'll go back when we are able to go to social distancing. We're not sheltering at home, being required to shelter at home. We will have the third option available to us at that point in time. So this is how we're looking at our board reviews right now. Now, what I want to give you an example for the virtual board review. This is actually the result of one of our board reviews from Saturday. This is how we're looking at it in our current approach. Is we are looking at Sign Up Genius. We're still taking registers and paying attention to who actually has signed up for Eagle boards. We are prioritizing by age. So from a Eagle application, when it comes in, we are prioritizing by age, so we can have, for example, we had someone on Saturday, they literally were just right at the 90 days after their 18th birthday. That's a prioritization activity for that we're looking at. So making that happen. We are using the Zoom technology. We are also having Eagle boards in parallel. So we are actually having them, and we're able to do via the same Zoom connection, and the entire advancement team is engaged when we make that happen, confirming that the technology worked. You got video, which is a requirement for the virtual Eagle boards, as well as the audio, and you know, pretty much a private setting as well. You do see some parents as an example in the background. We actually do encourage that when the final announcement's made at that point. To have them in the room, but prior to that, we do ask for, from a scout perspective, for you to be in the room by yourself. You can be there for introductions, but at that point, it's an interview between yourself and the rest of the board. Documentation, we are getting those via PDF, and we're asking every scout to actually submit those via PDF. You heard a little bit of chatter earlier between Tom French and myself. We're going to this PDF format coming to the advancement board. Or to the advancement committee. Therefore, it just makes it easier from a processing perspective. That also goes for reference letters. And as we get closer and you're chosen for your Eagle board, we'll get you more details on how that needs to occur, et cetera. So some good communications do happen. If anything, we probably over communicate when we do that. And the typical duration, we're seeing about 60 minutes total. I'm rounding that up some, but typically it's about 1 hour duration. So we're keeping it right about the same as what we're used to with the Eagle board. And keep in mind, our goal is to make it as close as possible to what we're used to within our district, which actually is, I have to say, I found out that we're actually going over and above as far as what we do and how we do it. A lot of good comments and feedback given back to the advancement committee on our approach, as well as to being able to have multiple boards at one time. We do have some additional national guidelines. I have this, and we're going to provide this presentation to you as a reference, so you have that. It's about how the extensions are applied, who can have an extension, how you can advance, et cetera. For example, for Eagles, for any, the first comment on here is, will youth who are not yet Life Scouts be allowed to apply for an extension to earn Eagle Scout rank? And that is no. It's only if they are already life rank can they apply for an extension, as an example, because of COVID-19. And these are extensions, as you can see right in here. There's some authorizations, et cetera, by councils that has been given all the way down to the district, that this will only happen through September 30th this year. So just be aware of that. But I did provide some additional detail. This just recently came out, and I want to make sure that everyone was in tune with that. So where does that take us now? From a high level perspective, I put some steps out here. I'm not going to go through them in depth. This is what we're used to. So from information, how information is being transferred, et cetera, between the council office, between the district members, the board of review, the scout, et cetera. These are the high level steps to help make that happen. I did this to make it much easier to understand how it works from a scout perspective as well as adults, and to further streamline that. For example, if you have a Eagle application that's ready to be submitted, you can submit it to national office. And when you do that, please just email the advancement team, and we're more than happy to help get you connected up to the national, not to national office, to council office, to the council office to go through the approval for that. And we can have electronics and move that forward. But keep in mind, even though your application has been reviewed and approved by council, it still needs to be processed by district. So it's still going to be going through, and from the prioritization, it does not exclude that. So if you want to submit it up there, feel free. Definitely still need to go to have yourself signed up on the Sign Up Genius, and we will call you as soon as a spot becomes available. Okay, and as I speedily go through this, we are still asking for patience. Patience is definitely gonna be part of the process. So far, we've been doing really well. Everyone's been on their best behaviors on several fronts. Not that I expected any differently from our district, but really patience is definitely going to help us, because we are streamlining things in many different ways, including even how we perform approvals, how we get signatures from the board members themselves, or how we're able to move that forward. So it's definitely about helping make this as streamlined as possible. And there's a reason why we're only doing 2 or 3 boards at a time right now. It's more of us getting practice, make sure it works streamlined, and then we're able to move forward. We do not want to go too crazy for several reasons, because we have seen technology problems. And technology, I'll use the word glitch, but more, it's typically not the technology from like a Zoom technology. It's more from the end user, meaning like myself speaking and presenting, leveraging the Zoom technology. For some reason, the video conferencing gets blurred or stutters or something like that. It's typically because of bandwidth or something like that. Something that example, that's usually where we're having any glitches, or maybe an email is not being received properly. So I purposely kind of ran through that one, because I provided documentation with the announcement. So you all had it earlier in the week from our last presentation. You saw a couple replica repeated slides with this slide, just to reinforce how we're looking at. But it really is about making this as streamlined as possible on that piece of it. Are there any questions? I'm just going to open this up at this point for any questions that you have. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask. One thing, as working to unmute yourself, from a timing perspective, right now we have, from a timing perspective, we're looking to do this probably at least through the end of April, possibly through the end of May. So that's currently what's on the target. And I know that even I'm involved with some national things on top of it, and even they've canceled a lot of their training events all the way through the middle to end of May at this moment. So I'm expecting Northeast Georgia Council to do the same thing.
Hey,
Any
Bill,
questions?
This is Frank Reardon.
Hey, Frank. How are you? Go ahead, Frank.
Patient.
Missed you there, Frank. Still there?
Hey.
There you are. Okay, I don't know what happened with Frank's connection.
Till after this?
I'm sorry, I did not get most of your question there, Frank. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, if you have a 15, 16-year-old, are they going to be asked to wait for prioritization?
Yes, from a prioritization perspective, correct. From an age perspective, yes.
And that's through April, May. And I guess if this continues to June, July, it'll be the same.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to do our best to process them as fast as we can on that piece of it, but we are taking priority from that standpoint and not trying not to burn out our volunteers on whether it's the board or as well as the volunteers on the advancement committee. But yes, we are prioritizing by age.
Okay. And just to throw it out there, if you need more volunteers, just let me know.
Okay, we'll do. Absolutely. We'll write that down.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Also, is the goal still going to be about 6 per month, or are you looking at doing anything different then?
Good question, Warren. I don't know the answer to that yet. We're trying to evaluate it and see where we are. Right now, from a board perspective, we are shooting for the 5 to 6 at the moment. And I need to review where we are after this weekend, and then I can better assist and assess that.
Hey, Mr. Talbot, it's Kevin Moranto.
You,
I just
sir?
wanted to let you know that there's a group chat message where people are asking questions.
Okay. Is it in our
Yeah, it's in the Zoom meet.
in the chat? Okay, hold on 1 second. We'll take a look. Kathy, are you able to monitor that? There we go. Okay, got it. Okay. Well, online applications. Okay, we're allowed to obtain signature via Adobe Acrobat Reader at Scoutmaster Conference, but need to revise the application and need a new one signed like the old one. There's a couple different options. We can work through that and see what our options are on that if you're unable to get a physical signature. Kevin, good question. As far as for PDFs, we can work through getting approvals. Electronic signatures are acceptable within council and national for this.
Okay. Thank you.
Consensus about gathering. Will Stevens, yeah, has the district reached a consensus about gathering signatures for Eagle project proposals? So on the proposals, can I read into that a little bit, Will? Is that you talking about electronic signatures? I don't know if he's here or not. So for the signatures, we are able to leverage electronic signatures, and we can work through that. We prefer physical if you have it as far as written, but I totally understand on the proposals. At the moment it's more, let's see where the scout is, and from an age perspective, if that's what you're looking at, we are looking to see if we can get out of the pandemic and get, say, back to normal so we can actually get signatures. That'd probably be the preferred approach, so we don't have to worry about signatures outside of that. But yeah. Mr. Hilly, what email do we send our Eagle application workbook? Okay, so Mr. Hilly, when you are reached out to, you will actually have that information. So absolutely, we'll be reaching out to everyone individually, and we do have your email address due to how you've signed up, due to Sign Up Genius. So we do have the communication. So you'll see a very direct communication on that. What we expect, who to send it to, when to send it. Mr. Harris, I have an April 28th board review. Do I proceed as if it's my review? I'm not about to age out. Mr. Harris, great question. So at this point on the April 28th, I'll probably put the pause button on yourself at the moment and not trying to exclude anything on that. But we will reach out to you with that. That's part of the prioritization that needs to occur this weekend or the next couple of days. Gosh, it's hard to believe it's already Thursday. So, but yes, we will be reaching out to you as far as when that board review will occur. It will not occur on the 28th on the Tuesday. Eagle Rack submission still 2 weeks before board review. Preferred, the question is from Frank, is the Eagle application submission still 2 weeks prior to the board review? I still shoot for that round number. That's fine. That piece, that really hasn't changed. We're trying to do our best not to impact what we're used to for our normal activities. And we're also we also do not want to have the virtual Eagle boards or review be our regular occurrence for us, unless, except for the COVID-19 activities. If we need it on an exception basis, that's great. But really, we're trying not to make that the new norm. we would prefer to have in-person border reviews, whether it's for the project reviews or the Eagle border review itself. Okay, next question. To start the process, do you just mail the application physically to the Jefferson, or are we allowed to drop it off? Great question, Mr. Hilly. So if you have an application that's ready and signed and ready to go, we can work with you on giving you instructions how to process that, PDF it, and send it to council for their signature and come back, be processed. So the other one was, I think that was also your question, hard copy of the Eagle application. So we can work on getting that electronically processed through council. Good questions, good questions. Any others? We're doing pretty good, 25 after, gosh.
So also, Bill, I just want to make sure that if you've got anyone in your troops, just if you've got someone who is on that edge of not meeting the correct dates or reaching their birthday within this time frame, y'all need to make sure that we are getting that information as well. So if you could send us a year and the month of birthday on some of those scouts that you're really worried about, so that we are really keep our heads up for that, that would be good.
Kathy, on that, do you want us to email one of you guys directly? Which email should we send that to?
I would send that directly to Bill, and I know I'm going to bombard his email address, but that way one person has that information and it's not out to everybody. That would be great.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, on that note, when you send something like that, also provide the birth date of the scout you're referencing, because we are going to be asking for that with the priorities. We will have that from a application when it comes to us, but if there's something we need to know beforehand, that will just help the communication. That's actually a new addition we're probably going to be asking our Sign Up Genius is for some like the month and year of the scout for their Eagle board as an example. Trust me, this has been crazy for us, and I will also go back to the entire team here on the advancement side. This is not a whine, but realize for the virtual border reviews, there's a lot of effort in making that happen, and literally it takes entire team to make this work. There's a lot of effort to make this happen, and it actually is, and I think everyone on the team would agree, it's actually a lot more work than actually having a physical border review on our side. But our goal is to make it as easy as possible on the board members as well as the scouts, so you do not have that experience. Again, that's not a whine or anything. It's just giving you insight on how much effort it is on our side. Just being transparent. Okay. Yes, Kathy.
There's another question out there from Mr. Wills. He's got a couple of questions. So this is the first one. He says, as I've read one of the life extensions, they were only allowed for life scouts, but it did not have, they didn't have to be a current scout or current life scout. His audio is not working at the moment.
I understand. As I read the life extension, they were only allowed for life scouts, but it did not have to be a current life scout. As soon as a scout reaches life, first under COVID-19, they can apply for the extension. Is that your understanding? That is correct. That is a correct assumption. Yes, that is a correct assumption. So if we're still under COVID-19, a scout has advanced to life rank. At that point, if there's extension is needed, we can file for that extension. And also multiple extensions, you'll find it in some of the details I'll provide there. Also, if there's a second extension needed because we're still under COVID-19, I hope we're not. Honestly, I really don't want to. I don't think any of us do. We can apply for another extension at that point. The national office is taking care of us on that front. But that's also where we are looking for having, if you have any ages, et cetera, the goal is to avoid any extensions if we can. That's actually my ultimate goal. Try to avoid additional paperwork. Let's see. Okay, so next one, getting signatures, is it possible to turn in multiple pages, one Scoutmaster signature, one beneficiary, one committee extension? Does it have to be one page? It can be multiple pages. That's fine.
Yeah, and at this point, if someone is having difficulties getting those signatures, I mean, we are really making sure that we are working with those scouts as well. I know this is a very difficult and unusual situation, and normally you just go from one place to the next to get the signatures, but however you can get them would be great.
Yeah, please reach out. Well, I don't see any more questions at the moment, and if there's anything we can do, that's good. If there's anything we can do, please reach out to us. We're definitely here to help. And that goes for the scouts as well as the adults, or if there's any parents that have any questions to make that happen. But I will put this, I'll put a plug in here on the adult side. I know we've been primarily talking about the youth, but the adults, I don't want to exclude you. Also, it is a training opportunity for you. Take the opportunity to take some training, whether it's YPT, trust me, I've got to update mine as well. Merit badge counselor, leader specific training, et cetera, practice and other types of skills. Feel free to leverage those. So it is an opportunity for us to grow on top of the scouts, and have those virtual meetings too with your scouts. If you need any help leveraging the technologies out there like Zoom, et cetera, please ask. We're more than happy. There's several of us that are familiar with the technology and can make it happen, including breakout rooms, where you can actually go into your patrol and have scouts go into patrol meetings within their own virtual room while you're in the same session. So there are options there. Just think about that. If you're not having virtual meetings, it's an opportunity for the scouts to get together, and I highly, highly, highly encourage that. And please, I cannot say nearly enough. Thank you for your support. This is all about you. It's all about making sure we're serving and meeting the needs of the district as well as council. So if there's anything we can do, there's our email right there. Feel free to ask any questions for anything whatsoever. I might not be able to predict the weather. I'll just give you a heads up from time to time. I'm just not a weatherman, but I'm more than happy to tell you whatever I know currently when it comes to the advancements, how we're moving forward. And moving forward in many different forms. But I did want to make sure I provide at least an update for you from an advancement for the Eagle ranks, for the Eagle border reviews specifically, so you knew what was happening here.
Also, one more thing, Bill, before you disconnect, if you could put up the YouTube channel in our chat, just so everybody can see what it is. If y'all can go to that as well and let other people and your troops know that that YouTube channel is available, and that this class, and I do believe our roundtable is up there, our last roundtable. That way everybody can hear the same information, and you can just say, here's some information about Eagle boards. Go to it, watch this session, and then everybody can hear the same information. And just please go ahead and subscribe to it, so when any new updates or videos come on, you're able to see that information.
Going there right now. So yeah, we definitely have that happen. We have the roundtable from last week out there. You see some other roundtable announcements. We are going to start streaming roundtables as an example. It's going to be live videos. We do have the live videos here, so you're able to see that on what happened. And we'll also put this recording out here in addition to that. So yeah, please subscribe. We do have our own challenge. It's a district challenge for all of us to get up to at least 100 subscribers. I know we actually could go to 400 to 500, enough subscribers, but we are putting these videos and updates on our YouTube channel, so you actually see the video and have it real time and be able to see the recording in addition to emails. So thank you for that, Kathy. That was great. But yeah, to research it, just do NEGA Etowah District and type in YouTube. You'll come right to the channel in your Google search.
And it looks like there's one more question. Is there any other planned dates for the next Zoom meeting?
Not yet, but I will work on that. That's my task by this weekend to figure out what that next date will be. It'll be in 2 weeks. I just don't know what day in 2 weeks with schedules. Trust me, I'm on conference calls every night. So I will make sure there's a window in there for us to have another quick update. I know we went 5 minutes over so far, but yeah, I'm shooting for the 30-minute mark for this. Well, that's all I have. Thank you for everything, guys. And if there's any questions, please reach out. You know how to contact us. We're here for you.
Thank you, Bill.
Have a good evening.